Transit New York City Fairy Tale, and also part of my production company put it together. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Astrid Narancho, and I did The Neighbor, so the one before.
Wait, which one was that?
The Neighbor, the German one. True story.
Really? And it was dedicated to him. That was the name, his name, right?
I'm Bill Blaney. I'm the writer, director, and change of The Three Phases of Fern.
I'm Tony DeRiso. I was one of the actors in The Three Phases of Fern.
What? Oh, that's you! Ah! Were you the other one? You weren't.
No.
Oh, I was trying to think the whole... No way! All right, I know the backstory because we did an
We
interview.
left our walkers at home.
I saw you walking out with your family too. I was like, oh, I know he has 2 kids, and there they are. Okay, go ahead.
So my name is John Howard, and I was in The Three Phases of Fern.
I'm Eliza Voss. I directed Consider the Sparrow. And I'm Ann Hamilton. I'm in Consider the Sparrow and produced Consider the Sparrow.
I'm Jeremy Fulmer, and I was in Consider the Sparrow, and I edited the film.
Oh, that's
And produced.
beautiful. Good job. So what happened? Tell me about this film. I know it was in a can, literally, for how many years?
I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you first what the inspiration for this was. I was one of those kids back in 10th grade. I used to hang out with that group. And
The burnouts. We call them.
yeah. I wasn't necessarily one of the
Right.
part of it, but that was a group I hung out with. And this was 1980, and that year the after-school special was Stoned, starring Scott Baio. And you all see that?
Stoned?
Yes, Stoned, starring Scott Baio.
Well, I know Scott. I had the poster.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the
Chachi.
details about it, but it was so preachy and so naive, and just it didn't hit the mark. And I kept thinking, I went into school the next day, and I found my friend Bruce, who was the basis for Tony's character, and I said, man, somebody's got to do better than that. So that was just kind of the seed, and that was the inspiration of it. How well I pulled that off, I don't know. And as far as the set, the first day that we shot, we were shooting at the beach. And my thought was that we're going to go down to one beach, which was called Bar Beach, over in Port Washington. And I figured, okay, well, I don't need permits or anything. We're just going to go and shoot. And it was then that I realized I had about 7 people with a pile of equipment. I said, hide behind that tree. And that really didn't work. The security guard came around and says, nah, you got to get out of here. So fortunately, we went across the bay to another beach called Tappan Beach. And, we just started shooting. And the security guard came by, and he's walking. I'm getting a little nervous. Just goes, walks on. So fortunately, we're able to finish the film.
That was great. And you guys were all in school together? Is that how you got the roles?
Yeah. John was a year under me. He was in a repertory company with me.
Okay.
Tony, I got through. Was it backstage or showbiz, man? Backstage. I put an ad in.
Backstage when it was actually a newspaper.
When it was actually a newspaper.
Yes. Remember, we had to go buy it
In
at
fact,
the
when
newsstand.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, when we shot this was all farmland here. But yeah, I got him in backstage, and the minute I saw his photo, I said, "This is my character." And and I was looking for somebody who had sort of Hagenbergdorf, the method. And Tony had studied that under William Hickey. So I thought, So I thought this is somebody who I think is going to work out, because I wanted to have that, that sort of, real feeling in the way that they were speaking. I wanted them to be able to improvise as much as they could. So that's really, how this all came to pass.
And are you guys still acting?
No, I'm a middle school principal these days.
You're acting.
I am acting. Funny, you asked for a funny story. So I wanted to be Al Pacino, of course, when I was 22 years old. And so we were filming in the house when everyone's sitting around getting high. And I didn't even smoke cigarettes. I didn't know anything about pot or, anything. And I had to do a bong hit. I don't know if that's in the film. It's
There
not-
were
I don't
lots
think
of
it is.
bongs in the film.
Yeah, we.
So they load up a bong with tobacco because we're not going to do real marijuana. So we'll use tobacco. What do I know? So they load up a bong with tobacco. I've never seen a bong in my life. And I took a full hit of this bong and I fell flat on my ass. You remember that? I don't know if you remember that. Flat on my ass. Yeah.
But it was real, man.
It was real, the method. But I just want to say about Bill. Bill was 22 years old, 21 years old, 21 years old when he made that film. And I think he does capture that scene. You know, it's rough, but that's what makes it a wonderful little film. And I know he's had a quite successful career in advertising since, but he's a wonderful filmmaker. And thank you for having me in that film.
Thanks, man. I probably told you that 30-some years ago.
What do you do in advertising now?
I'm a creative director. So,
Oh, look at that.
you know, in addition to...
You got a stage full of
coming up with
commercial
brands.
actors
And I
right
still,
here.
you know, I still do commercials and all kinds of things. So, you know, it's a mix, but it's nice. You know, I think the one thing I'll say about this medium is that, you know, it's incredible that this thing is 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm just happy anybody could sit through it, you know, because you never know. You never know years and years later, you know, what's going to capture people's attention, how they're going to react to it. But it's just a great medium in that sense to be able to, you know, to have something that over the years can still be put in front of people and they'll find new things in it. So that I thought it's good.
Yeah.
You know.
It was,
And also the way that film was shot, your film, it was much better than the one I was in as a movie overall. But I was
Oh,
like,
thanks.
how the heck did they capture the look, the 1980s after school special look, you know? So I was like blown away. And then the Black Sabbath references and all that, you know. So,
Yeah, you do a lot of, there was a lot of cutting then. Actually, that whole thing back then, when I originally did it, because, you know, I move at a clip on this thing. And I had a couple of people come in, you know, and watch it when I was in the editing room, and they both said, "You cut too much. Why are you cutting so much?" But it was how you see it. You see how you see it. But yeah, you know, that was all of the material that was left from my youth and my friends' youth. So we had everything we needed pretty much there to make this film.
right.
Bill, how much time did you spend filming that?
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, well, this was shot on 60mm film. So if some of you remember that, I mean, the camera, the equipment, it was heavy stuff. We had an Airy BL, which is sort of this big cast iron machine with long lens and rabbit ears, and it weighed a ton. And then we also had a Bolex, which had a parallax viewfinder, meaning that here's the lens, you're looking up here, you set up your shot, you move the camera up, and you hope for the best. It took us, we had 9 days to shoot it. I had actually, you know, metered it out for about 2 weeks. And because I was an undergrad, I wasn't given the equipment that long. I was given essentially 9 days. So we had to put in 15-hour days to get this thing done. And it was, you know, I envy everyone today and all the equipment you have. Just, if for no other reason than being able to get a steady shot. You know, you're walking around like this, you don't want to move because otherwise it's an earthquake with a camera.
oh, yeah. Here, in the middle.
Was there any choice between, did you make any purposeful decisions about the color stock versus black and white when you were shooting? I noticed it progressively got more grainy and more...
Yeah, we moved from color to black and white. Part of that had to do, I was trying to get a look, you know, even back then. There wasn't a lot you could do when it came to something like filters and stuff like that. There was none of that. So I wanted to look like what you saw in WO and WPIX when I was a kid, which are usually a copy of a copy. So what I did, I shot it in reversal, I went to an internegative, and then I took a print from there. So that was the reason you got the look that you got. And as far as going from color to black and white, I always kind of saw this story as sort of a reverse Wizard of Oz. You know, he doesn't realize he's in a good place when he starts, and, you know, here's where he ends.